great authorities is doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge.
Okay. So there are three types of people explained in this. Okay. One, they are called karmis, not karma yogis. Okay, both are different. Karmis means generally the persons are materialist who desire to enjoy the fullest extent of material sense gratification. People who are their only goal in life is to enjoy materially. How do they enjoy materially, Sunil Prabhu? How do they want to enjoy materially? Sunilada Prabhu?
Material desires like मुझे सब नेटवर्क एक मिनट में It's better now?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Material desires like जैसे हम गाड़ी लेते हैं, बंगला बनाते हैं, ऑफिस बनाते हैं, and we keep on adding those elements. नया मोबाइल लेंगे, नया सब कुछ करेंगे, और एक डिजायर खत्म होता है और दूसरा डिजायर वापस अपने आप खड़ा हो जाता है. So we tend to fall for those material desires regularly, continuously, every moment. Once one is fulfilled, the next one automatically arrives at the doorstep.
Very good. So there are two types of material desires. One is gross desire, as we mentioned, and always aspiring for a better, for example, comfort in terms of house, in terms of car. You buy one car, after 1 year, you want a better car. You buy that car, after 1 year, you want even better car. I shared my experience some time back. You bought that car also, after 1 year, you want another better car. So the desire is never fulfilled. You buy a 1 BHK house, then after 1 year, you want 2 BHK house. After 1 year, you want 3 BHK house. After 1 year, you want a bungalow. You want a bigger bungalow. So like this, desire is never fulfilled. These are gross desires. Desire to have the finest clothing. Desire to look handsome, beautiful. Desire for name. Desire for fame. Desire for position. These are subtle desires. Okay, they're not visible. They're not gross like car, house, and all that. There are subtle desires which everybody wants to enjoy subtly. For example, even if somebody is giving a donation, he wants name and fame. Even if he's giving a donation, it becomes a material desire. So there's a desire attached to be recognized that, yes, I have given some donation. These are all material desires. People who have such material desires, they're called karmis. Because they have to perform karma to fulfill these desires. Okay? And all these karmas are binding. All these karmas result into some reaction, good or bad, this life or next life. Okay? Second is called Jnani. Next to them are the transcendentalists who have attained perfect knowledge about the nature of material enjoyment. Okay? And thus are aloof from such an illusory way of life. So these are the people who get knowledge. What knowledge? Dukhalayam ashashvatam. This material world, one cannot be happy. So it is useless to keep working hard to get happiness in this material world. He recognizes because he has got the knowledge. And then he wants to get out of this place. Based on knowledge, he wants to get out of this body, which is the source of all miseries. And his destination is to merge with the Brahman. And what is Brahman? Who will explain? What is Brahman? Jnanis, they want to merge with Brahman and get out of the material world. What is Brahman? No? No one knows. Other than Pransaki Mataji. Yes, Palvi Mataji, bolo.
प्रभु जी मुकुल अग्रवाल जी बता देते हैं।
हाँ बताइए प्रभु।
प्रभु जी ब्रह्मन जो मैं समझता हूँ जितना कि वो जिसे पूरा ज्ञान है और जो जिससे मतलब मुक्ति मिल सकती है वहां तक की नॉलेज है, जिसे मतलब जो आत्मा को मतलब अच्छी तरह से समझता है और मतलब मुक्ति का मतलब अधिकारी हो जाता है, शायद उसे ब्रह्मन कहते हैं।
एक्चुअली वो ज्ञानी है जो मुक्ति चाहता है, ठीक कह रहे हैं, लेकिन मुक्ति मतलब वो चाहता है कि बहुत ही जगह से टू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस मटेरियल वर्ल्ड and merge with Brahman. Brahman is nothing but the effulgence coming out of the body of Krishna. Okay, all the planets are situated in this Brahman, whether spiritual planet or Vaikuntha or even material world. All are situated in this Brahman, right? So he wants to get out of this and merge with Brahman. Brahman doesn't mean that he got into spiritual world. No, it is outside spiritual world. Maybe I'll show you this entire Goloka chart next time to explain more in detail. So they want liberation from this material world. You can understand this way. They want liberation from this material world, but they are not bhaktas. Why they are not bhaktas? They want liberation for themselves, but not interested in serving Krishna. Okay, this is the difference between Jnani and Bhakta. Jnani means out of the knowledge of this material world, he wants to get liberated so that he is free from all the pains and pleasures of this material world, but not interested in serving Krishna, performing devotional service. It is also a kind of sense enjoyment, not sense enjoyment, but it is also a selfish desire that I get free from, the pain of this material world, because I is involved, me is involved, and hence it is not a perfect, pure platform of devotion service. Third are the devotees who are called bhaktas. Above them are the devotees of the Lord who neither aspire to enjoy this world nor desire to get out of it. What does it mean? Wherever they are, they just want to serve Krishna. They are after the satisfaction of the Lord Sri Krishna, not their satisfaction. Okay? It's not that if I leave this material world, I'll be satisfied. This is called liberation, but it is a selfish desire. The platform of pure devotion service is very, very transcendental, very, very high, in which there is nothing for self, only for Krishna. Everything I do is for Krishna, whether here or out of this material world. Anywhere I am only interested in serving Krishna. This is a platform of bhakti, highest platform, and hence highest bliss also. Okay, this is a platform when one is based on the platform of the soul, recognizing what? His original constitutional position of being a servant of Krishna. Jivere Sarupe Hoye Nityer Krishner Das. When he recognizes that my constitutional position is serve Krishna, he can serve Krishna anywhere. Anywhere. Whether here or anywhere. So this is the highest platform. Because one is situated on the platform of soul, he gets highest bliss, highest happiness, highest satisfaction, because this is the nature of the soul. Satchit Anand. Soul is by nature blissful. So when one is living on the platform of the soul, he is blissful always. Okay. So in this verse, is being said whether one is situated on any platform, Karmi, Jnani or Bhakta, If he is chanting diligently, his life will become successful. Okay, doubtless, there is no doubt in this. Today you may be a karmi, doesn't matter. If you adopt the process of chanting, you will soon reach the platform of devotional service. If you're jnani, if you're chanting, you will soon reach the platform of devotional service. Okay? So anyone and everyone can chant and make his life successful without any doubt. Okay, this is the power of chanting process. I can see some of you are diligently, not now, many of you now, right? Diligently have been increasing your rounds every Ekadashi. You can see some people are increasing, and they share also every day. I want to understand from them, how is that proving to be useful for them? Did they find that useful, beneficial? Anyone would like to share your experience? Yes, please raise your hand. Okay, Nidhi Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, earlier I used to do 1 or 2 malas. Then that time I was like, kuch ho nahi raha hai, and I was very impatient. But after every Ekadashi, I have been increasing my rounds. And what I have seen, earlier I was very impatient. बहुत ज़्यादा अपने परसेप्शन से सबकी चीज़ों को समझती थी. Like, I think this is a very selfish thing. So I can say I was very selfish. So, but after chanting, I've seen that I am able to understand everybody. Even if they are hurting me, still I'm able to understand them. So now I can see there's very less discord in my life. So ultimately, it's leading to a very peaceful life, and no doubt, karmic bondages are getting less and less because I'm not in discord with anybody.
How many rounds are
And
chanting now?
14 from this Ekadashi.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. I wanted to increase on Janmashtami, but I stuck to my rule, so I didn't. And second thing is, Prabhuji, now I am completely surrendering everything to Krishna. Though we have choice, even if we are doing bad, good, it is said कि we have choice to select कि ये गलत चीज है, we know we should not do. But for that also, I surrender to Krishna because I think he is very powerful to guide me and stop things. अगर वो नहीं चाहते हैं ये गलत है, नहीं होना चाहिए, तो it's in his power. So I have completely surrendered. Whatever is happening in my life, whatever has happened or whatever will be happening in my life. So I won't have any kind of complaint. I don't have any complaint with life in any aspect. So this is 2 things I have. These are the 2 changes I have seen.
Thank you. So Krishna does reward what? Our sincerity. Krishna does reward our discipline. Krishna does reward our sincere desire to grow spiritually. Okay? So you can see Krishna does reciprocate. Krishna is watching all of us, sitting in our heart. Krishna says what? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sanivishto. I am seated in everybody's heart. In Chandni Mata's heart, in Dilip Prabhu's heart, Vinita Mata's heart, Narendra Prabhu's heart, everybody's heart. And he is the closest. Even your spouse is not as close as Krishna is to you. Do you realize this? Alpana Mataji, even Praful Prabhuji is not as close to you as Krishna is close to you. Because he's seated in your heart. I'm not sure about Praful Prabhuji, whether he's seated or not. But Krishna for sure is sitting. So he's so close. He's watching, he's witnessing everything. He knows what is our desire. He knows what is our sincerity. He knows what is the level of eagerness we have. He knows what is the level of greed we have to grow spiritually. And accordingly he reciprocates. Ye nyatham prapadante tam tathe bhajami. जैसा जैसा आप भाव दिखाएंगे वैसा मैं रेसिप्रोकेट करूंगा. So if we show sincerity, you will see Krishna reciprocating in our life. Definitely. Thank you, Poonam Mataji, Nidhi Mataji. Anyone else would like to share? Sharing experience is very important because it helps you and it helps others also who are listening. इतने लोग का वीडियो बंद क्यों है? Please switch on your video. Yes, Anita Mataji, you want to say something?
Yeah, Prabhuji, can I share my experience
Yes,
about
please.
chanting?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, so earlier I was chanting not regularly. I mean, I was just doing few rounds. I didn't take it so seriously, and there'll be days that I'll chant 6 rounds, some days 8 rounds. But you know, it was very difficult for me. And then what happened during the pandemic, when there was a full lockdown, my husband was telling me that he felt that his business will be badly affected because we were dealing with countries like Italy and America for exports, and those countries had been quite badly hit. So I told him the only way was for us to devote ourselves to prayers and to do a lot of chanting. I said, there's no other way, you know. And I told him, I said, I think we need to think positive during this time. So we both started actually doing our chanting very regularly, and I increased my rounds to 16 rounds. I started reading the Gita. And before that, I had a lot of fear of the unknown and fear of the business. But once I started chanting, I found that slowly I was also surrendering. And you won't believe, Prabhuji, my husband did so well. He said even in other times before the pandemic, it was not this good. He said, even I can't explain how the business has been so good. And with Krishna's grace and blessings, things have been really good for me and Prabhuji. So, I mean, it's unexplainable, but, you know, these are the miracles that happen, you know, once we started chanting and devoting our spirituality to Krishna, I would say. So, yeah, so that's our experience.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So I just want to add to this, even if suppose business had not done well, suppose, right? But we would have definitely become more fearless, not dependent on our business, for our success, for our satisfaction, for our pleasure. Okay? So even business not doing well, yeah, will, you know, we should be able to see perceptible changes in life, in our disposition, in our becoming more fearless, more happy, more blissful. Okay. So suppose, you know, you chant and you don't grow materially, so it doesn't mean chanting is not helping us. That is also very important note. Huh? Okay. Yes. Anyone else? Yes, Alpana Mataji.
प्रभु जी ऑल्दो मैं रेगुलर नहीं करती हूँ, कई बार बहुत नालायकी करती हूँ इसमें चैंटिंग में, बट इवन मेरा ये एक्सपीरियंस है कि जब भी कोई टेंशन होता है या कोई चीज की चिंता लग रही होती है, तो माला करने से उसका जो सॉल्यूशन हो सकता है उससे कई गुना बेटर पॉसिबल सॉल्यूशंस मेरे सामने आए हैं. मुझे मतलब जब भी चिंता होती है मैं उस टाइम में माला जरूर कर देती हूँ.
So let's not wait for tension. Okay. For our chanting.
वो एक एक्सपीरियंस है कि नंबर ऑफ टाइम मैंने ये चीज रियलाइज किया है कि उसका जो सॉल्यूशन हो सकता था उससे कई गुना बेटर सॉल्यूशन मुझे मिलता है.
Yes, yes. This is how Krishna reciprocates. So, but we should ensure. Yes, Prabhuji, Vyas Prabhuji, Andi Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I had been doing chanting from almost last 2 years. But unfortunately, I have not been a regular chanter. But I used to do almost 8 rounds during all these years, most of the time. And recently, I have cleared 12 rounds, and last day I completed 6 rounds, I think for the first time in last 2 years. Now, the basic experience which I am getting out of the chanting is, first of all, the very first impact of the chanting is it kills your material desires and it starts tuning your material desires. as per the wish of Krishna. And secondly, it increases the family members' associations into the worshipping of Krishna also. Today, my kids are doing good worshipping apart from myself in the service of Krishna. They are offering whatever the prasadam we used to bake. Firstly, they are offering, even they are going out, they are offering it in the gentries and in the group gatherings also. So this kind of change have diluted the fear of my towards the world, rest of the world. So I am today fearless that what is going to happen with me and with my kids, or how the life is going on for the future. So this is the big change which I have come out, and I have more faith in doing even 1 or 2 rounds if I fail to do for 16 rounds. But I commit myself to serve Krishna at least 1 or 2 rounds daily. So the deep faith in the change of life has turned my sentiments in worshipping towards the Krishna.
बहुत अच्छा. अभी how many rounds are you doing every day?
Prabhuji, it was almost 8 rounds a day earlier. Today, last Ekadashi, I increased it for the 12 rounds, and by end of the day, I completed 16 rounds.
Okay. So 12 rounds you will do every day now?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, I will try to maintain it.
बहुत अच्छा. Very nice. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Okay, this is the power of association, Prabhuji. Last 2 years you did not have association, right? Now you have association, you're getting motivation to chant more. Okay, this is the power of sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarv shastra say, love matra sadhu sangha, sarv siddhi ho. If you remain in the association of devotees, you're always protected. You'll always be motivated to do better, to do well. If you get out of association, our enthusiasm, our motivation level slowly dies down. Okay, so somehow ensure you're a part of this class and keep getting association, keep hearing regularly. The moment you stop it, your all spiritual practices will die down gradually. Okay, so this is the foundation, remember this. Okay, very good, Anil Prabhuji. Any last comment before we move to Bhagavad Gita? Anyone else? Okay, thank you. So, we were talking about 10 offenses against the holy name which we should avoid. Does anyone remember? We have discussed 4 of them. You remember what are these 4 offenses we have discussed we should avoid while chanting? Which is the first offense? Anyone? ये हमको कंठस्थ होने चाहिए. We should be able to memorize this. Then we can avoid it. Which was the first offense? Anyone? We should avoid. हाथ खड़ा कर जल्दी जल्दी बोलो, समय कम है, 11 बजे खत्म करना है क्लास. Radhika Mataji, which is the first offense to be avoided? I'll call out names now.
भक्तों की निंदा नहीं करना, प्रभु जी.
निंदा नहीं करना और नहीं सुनना. Both. Okay, we should not blaspheme devotees and we should not hear blasphemy of devotees. Both we should avoid. Okay, it is the most dangerous offense which will not allow us to make progress spiritually. Remember this. It can destroy our devotional life completely if we talk ill about devotees or we hear ill about devotees. Okay. Sometimes you see many people make lot of casual comments about devotees. आपने सुना होगा. So please try avoid, getting into this business of offending devotees. The second one was which one? Anyone remember? Second one? Yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Prabhuji, to consider demigods equal to and independent of Lord Krishna.
बहुत अच्छा. to consider demigods equal to God. Brahma is equal to Krishna, Indra is equal to Krishna, Ganesha equal to Krishna. This is offense. Even demigods will not like it. Okay, Hanuman will never like it if you tell him Hanuman is equal to Lord Ram. He'll feel very ashamed. Hey, what are you saying? He is my master. He is my Swami. Don't equate me with my master. He'll feel very bad. This is an offense. And also saying they are independent of Krishna, it is also an offense. Okay, unse swatantra hai, wo bhi offense. They are under the guidance of Lord Krishna, under supervision of Lord Krishna. Maya adhyakshena prakriti. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, this material nature works under my supervision. Okay, which is the third one? Pallavi Mataji, yes.
प्रभु जी स्पिरिचुअल गुरु को डिसोबे करना, उनकी अवहेलना करना.
Not following instructions of your spiritual master is an offense. Why? Because spiritual master is a direct representative of Krishna himself. So disobeying spiritual master means disobeying Krishna. Okay, it is an offense. You avoid that. Fourth kaun sa tha? Which is the fourth one? Yes, Dr. Vishwas. Oh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji, fourth is to blaspheme the Vedic literature and literature associated.
Correct. All the Vedic literature, they talk about glories of the holy name. Blaspheming that literature which glorifies holy name is also blaspheming the holy name itself. Okay, so that also, Bhagavad Gita ki ninda karna, Bhagavatam ki ninda karna, blaspheming such literature is also an offense. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll talk about the fifth offense today. Fifth is to consider the glories of the chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. ये सब बेकार है. All this is bogus. कुछ लोग बोलते हैं ना, क्यों समय बर्बाद कर रहे हो? Why are you wasting your time chanting the holy name? इससे अच्छा है तुम जाके किसी की सेवा करो. मंदिर क्यों जाते हो? Why do you go to temple? It's better to go and distribute some food to poor people, hungry people. Both cannot be equated. Okay, so thinking that all these glories of the chanting of the holy name are imagination is an offense. Okay. Next offense we'll talk about next class, which is about people derive their own meaning of the holy name, chanting of the holy name. That we'll discuss in next class. It is not an imagination. We saw, Bigari's life changing completely because of chanting. We saw Ratnakar who became Balmiki simply because of chanting. In the current age, we see so many Westerners who have not heard about Krishna, heard about Bhagavad Gita, heard about holy name. Their lives completely getting transformed simply on the basis of chanting of the holy name. This ISKCON is standing on the foundation of chanting. Prabhupada started chanting on it, in a square called Tompkins Square in New York, right? From where this entire preaching process started in US, simply based on chanting. So ISKCON khada hai only on the foundation of chanting of the holy name. Okay, today is present almost every country. So it is the benefits of chanting, not imagination. Okay, it is powerful. It is our foolishness that we don't recognize, or we don't want to recognize the power of holy name. Okay, so let's go to our now Bhagavad Gita. Time nahi hai jab karne ka, to aap log kijiyega. Okay. Okay, in the previous class we discussed about these verses, verse number 23 to 25. Okay. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam klidyam tapo, na shoshyati maruta. Cannot be cut by weapons, cannot be burnt by fire, cannot be moistened by water, cannot be withered by wind, is unbreakable, cannot be burned, insoluble, cannot be dried, everlasting, exists everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, eternally the same, imperceptible, inconceivable, immutable, without changes. So many things we discuss about this soul. Krishna has repeated few things again and again, so that we don't forget. Okay. Any questions so far before we move ahead? Anyone? Do you have any doubt? Any questions so far? Otherwise, move ahead. Okay, we move ahead. Silence is approval. Okay, silence is approval, no doubt. Okay, so we'll do verse number 26. Okay, please open your Bhagavad Gita copy. Everybody has a copy of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone who doesn't have copy of Bhagavad Gita? Jagdish Prabhu दिखा रहे हैं मेरे को. See, I have camera. Okay, very good. सबके पास है. Okay. If anyone does not have, please let me know. We'll get it delivered at your doorstep. Okay. Thank you. So 26th verse goes like this. Atha chainam nityajatam nityam va manase vritam tathapi tum mahabaho nenam shochitum arhasi. Atha chainam nityajatam nityam va manase vritam tathapi tum mahabaho nenam shochitum arhasi. Please mute yourself, so I can go ahead. अपने आप को mute रखिए. Somebody is unmuted. Who is unmuted? Dilip Prabhu. Okay. Translation purport by His Divine Grace Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptom of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty arm. Okay. मुकुल प्रभु जी आप पढ़िए इसको, इसका ट्रांसलेशन पढ़िए, इसका पर्पट पढ़िए.
प्रभु जी मुझे पढ़ना है.
हाँ जी, आपको पढ़ना है प्रभु जी.
किंतु यदि तुम यह सोचते हो कि आत्मा अथवा जीवन का लक्षण सदा जन्म लेना है तथा सदा मरता है, तो भी हे महाबाहु तुम्हारे शोक करने का कोई कारण नहीं है. तात्पर्य, सदा से दार्शनिकों का एक ऐसा वर्ग चला आ रहा है जो बौद्धों के समान.
Do you have English one? Anita Mataji cannot understand Hindi actually. Do we have English one? English copy है आपके पास?
Okay. हाँ एक.
Okay. So in the meantime, I'll read so you can continue later. So 26th verse says, if, however, you think that a soul will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed. Purport. There is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhist, who do not believe in a separate existence of the soul beyond the body. Okay. So we have been talking about there is a soul, there is a soul, there is a soul, there is a soul. But there is a class of people who do not believe so. So there is a class of people who do not believe that soul exists. Okay. When Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed and they were known as Lokayaticus and Vaibhashikas. Such philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientists and materialist philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo-religions now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy, as are the nihilistic, non-devotional Buddhist sects. Even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul, as in Vaibhashika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. No one laments the loss of certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents if there were no rebirth for the soul. Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabahu, mighty armed, because he at least did not accept the theory of Vaibhashika, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to Vedic culture, and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. So far, Krishna has been saying, talking about soul, there is a soul, it is indestructible, this is the size of soul and all that. Okay? Now Krishna is saying, Arjuna, even if you believe that there is no soul, okay? What is Krishna saying? Arjuna, O mighty armed, even if you believe there is no soul, मान लो कि soul never existed earlier and after this life, भीष्म पितामह का कोई भी आत्मा नहीं रहेगा या द्रोणाचार्य का कोई भी आत्मा नहीं रहेगा, then where is the question of lamentation? If everything will finish anyway and will not continue after this body, where is the question of lamentation? Okay. Are you able to follow what Krishna is trying to say? Yeah. The Buddhists follow this philosophy. उनको बोलते हैं शून्यवादी. They don't believe in the existence of soul. They believe, what they believe, combination of matter makes a living symptom. There is no soul. When different material elements combine, then living symptom is invoked. And this combination is the cause of pain. Okay? And they talk about nirvana. Suna hoga apne nirvana. Nirvana means disintegrating this matter combination so that we get out of the pain. You take any religion, they're talking about getting out of the pain. Atyanti dukha nivrati, getting out of the painful situation of this life. They also want to do the same thing. But they don't know that soul is an element which exists in every body. And there is a transmigration after this life that they don't know. So though Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna only, none other than Krishna, but he came down for a specific purpose. I think you discussed briefly earlier. So his instructions are not to be followed, though he is an incarnation of Krishna. Okay, because his instructions work for a specific period, for specific group of people, for a specific time. They are not relevant in all times. Okay, but he is an incarnation of Krishna himself. Okay, so Krishna is saying, even if you believe there is no soul, then where is the question of lamentation? After Bhishma is killed, after Drona is killed, anyway they, there is nothing they will suffer or they will, take pleasure after this life. And immediately next verse, Krishna says, they have to die anyway. They will not live forever. That you don't kill, they'll continue to live forever. No, they have to die. Which is the next verse. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityur dhruvam janma metasya cha tasmat apariharyarthe na tvam shochitum arhasi. One who has taken birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. So this is completely against what Krishna spoke in the previous verse, isn't it? In the previous, Krishna said, even if you assume there is no soul, but Krishna is saying, no, that is not true actually. Because one who has taken birth, he has to for sure die, as sure as death. And one who has died is sure to take birth again based on his karmas. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So simply perform your duty of being a Kshatriya. Don't lament that you'll incur sinful reactions of killing them. No. You will incur sinful reaction of not performing your Kshatriya duty. पाप मारने से नहीं लगेगा, पाप अपना कर्तव्य पूरा ना करने से लगेगा. Krishna is presenting this picture in front of Arjuna. Okay, Jatasya dhruvam. Anyone who has taken birth is sure to die, because this body is perishable. Dehino asmin yatha dehe komaram yovanam jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्ततम तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति. देहांत निश्चित है और उसके बाद नए शरीर में जाना भी निश्चित है. You cannot avoid. It cannot be avoided at all. So simply perform your duty. Even if you don't kill them, they will die. He cannot stop that. Krishna is telling Arjuna. So better you perform your duty of being a Kshatriya. Don't run away from your duty. Now, some people say just performing duty is sufficient. है कि नहीं? हम अपने परिवार का ध्यान रख रहे हैं, समाज की सेवा कर रहे हैं. Is that not sufficient? Why should we worship Lord? आपने सुना ऐसा प्रश्न? Have you heard about this argument? Right? I am taking care of my family very nicely. I am giving them nice shelter, nice food, nice clothing, and also I'm contributing to society by giving some donation in anathalaya, in whatever, in old age home or in whatever. I'm feeding some hungry people on the road. Why should I worship the Lord? Have you heard about this question, this argument? एक मूवी आया था, कौन सा था? वो कहते थे तुम दूध, why do you offer milk to Lord Shiva? Go and distribute to some hungry people. ये जाके नाली में गिरता है बाद में. सुना आपने ये? क्या? और मूवी का नाम को ध्यान नहीं है, क्या था? Does anyone remember this movie? Yes, Alpana Mata ji.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. हाँ, oh my God.
पीके और oh my God दोनों में बताया था प्रभु.
हाँ, हाँ. What is the need? We are moralist. We don't have to become spiritualist, right? But we should note what, if we do our duty nicely, what is the need to worship Lord? Actually, without spirituality, there cannot be any morality. Note down this. We cannot become moral unless we are spiritual. Right? We cannot become moral unless we are spiritual. You'll see very nice looking men, nice looking people, very gentle people. They may be involved in cheating, like evading taxes, and they may be involved in unfair compensation to their employees, but they're all suited booted. That is why we have capitalism today. We have 90% of wealth in 10% of hands, and 10% of wealth in 90% of hands. If they're all gentle people, why this so much of, differentiation? We speak lies on different occasions freely, right? Eat other living entities for taste of tongue. सूट बूट पहन के हम बैठते हैं 5-star hotel में, and we easily eat non-vegetarian, killing other, helpless living entities. Because every day we cause some violence, physical or mental, for some selfish interest, out of envy, out of greed. We have been spoiling this environment. We are spoiled completely. Water is polluted, air is polluted. And we can do anything to meet our material desires. But they all look very gentle externally. They all look very philanthropist externally. But internally, all these things keep going on. Yeah. Why? Because the heart is not pure. Yeah. All such things happen from an impure heart. And impurity of heart cannot be removed unless one adopts the process of spirituality. Your heart cannot be cleansed. American government tried their level best. They spent billions of dollars to get people out of this habit of LSD. They could not do anything. They spent billions of dollars. Prabhupada went, he made those people chant, and they left the habit of LSD, drinking, smoking, illicit sex. They left all these habits. Right? Prabhupada used to say, only devotee is a thorough gentleman, no one else. Because he is controlled by anarthas, either material desires or anger or envy or greed or illusion. Everybody, while they might look very, gentle or civilized externally because of good clothing or, nice haircut or whatever, nice specs. But internally, their heart is impure. The only process to purify heart is chanting the name which is pure, worshipping Krishna which is pure. When we take association of the purest Krishna, our heart also becomes cleansed of all impurity. Then all of these things will vanish. Greed will go, habit of lying will go, eating non-vegetarian will go, causing violence to other people will vanish. We'll become more aware of, our environment. Our material desires will come down. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Yasyasti Bhaktir. This is from Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 18th chapter and 12 number verse. Yasyasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Harav Abhaktasya Kuto Mahat Guna Mano Rathe Nasati Dhavato Bahi. Yeah, can anyone read? Chandni Mati, can you please read this? Hare Krishna. Anyone can read. She's not there.
All the demigods and their excited quantities such as religion, knowledge, and
Renunciation.
मेरे को specs पहनना पड़ेगा एक second.
अच्छा ठीक है मैं पढ़ता हूँ. Time. All the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Vasudeva. It means if somebody is serving Krishna in devotional service, all good qualities will manifest in him. All good qualities of Krishna, of demigods, will appear in his body. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotion service, on the other hand, one who is not, performing devotion activities and engaged in material activities, has no good qualities. Not possible. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining family and relatives. It means he may be a biggest yogi, very mystic, a lot of mystic qualities, or he may be maintaining his family relatives very nicely. He must be driven by his own mental speculation. His mind will definitely make him do something which is wrong and must engage in the service of Lord's external energy. He'll come under the influence of Maya for sure. How can there be any good quality of such man? It means one who has an impure mind, one who has an impure heart, it is not possible for him to have a good quality or good qualities. Only through devotional service, when we cleanse our heart, we cleanse our mind, one manifests good qualities. You can see transformation changes in devotees before and after. You may be experiencing yourself also. I have experienced myself. What all I used to do before I adopted the process of chanting and how these bad habits have gone. Okay, so if you want to inculcate, forget about Krishna, forget about going to spiritual world. Even if you want to inculcate good habits, you want to become a good gentleman, gentlewoman, we must perform devotional activities just to become a good human being. Okay, so one cannot become a good human being if he is not performing devotion service. Okay, then Bhagavatam says, Kechit kevalya bhaktaya vasudeva parayana agam dhunvanti kasyena niharam eva bhaskara. Only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions. Right? Why do we perform sinful activities? Because we have sinful propensities in our heart, sinful seed in our heart. So devotion to Krishna removes that seed only. So there is no further cultivation of sinful actions. So there is no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. Yes, Suraj nikalta hai, the moment sun comes out, entire fog is vanished. Similarly, when one performs devotional activities with nishtha, shraddha, his sinful propensities will vanish, will go. Propensity to commit sinful actions will go. Definitely. Okay. So only performing duty is not sufficient. Only becoming moralist is not. One cannot become moralist without being spiritualist. This is what is being explained in these two verses. Okay. Okay. Any doubt? Any questions so far? Anyone? Who has a question? Mukul Prabhu has a question. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Can't hear you. Yes, Prabhuji.
If we look at Buddhism, in China, you can see Buddhism is the main religion. Or many countries follow Buddhism, like Sri Lanka, and with this Buddhist or Buddhism religion is the guiding factor for all their life. So, should we say that they are actually not on the right path?
No. They're not on the right path.
How can we say such a big humanity and this more than 150 crore people following this religion?
So if we have mass following something, will that make it right? If everybody is following means it's right?
But mass cannot be wrong also.
It is wrong. It is based on Shastras. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you saw this verse, only rare people will understand this. Only a rare person who has adopted. So rarity is not in masses. Only qualified people can visit a shop of a jeweler and buy a jewelry. Not everyone. It is not their qualification to buy. Everything that is cheap is not great, and everything that is great is not cheap. Yes? That everybody is able or qualified to do so. So this is so great, but it is not cheap. One can say Mohammedans are the highest in terms of population across the world. So it means their practice is right because they are in masses. They kill, eat. No, it doesn't make it right, no, because they are in masses. Good qualities means rare. Okay? Bad qualities means masses. Remember this. Only one person tops the class. Not everyone. Okay? Not everyone. Because he is unique. Rare. So masses does not make one right. A following masses, उसको भेड़ चाल बोलते हैं ना. जहां भेड़ जा रही है हम भी वहीं जाएंगे. It doesn't mean that you are on the right path. Okay, that's why a devotee is unique. He only can afford to buy a jewelry from a jewelry shop. Not everyone. Because they are not qualified. They don't have enough currency to buy. Okay. Now, when I was in Indonesia, everybody is killing cow and eating. So does that make it right? Cow is one of the 7 mothers, isn't it? Like a mother feeds milk to a child, cow feeds milk to your child. Both are mothers. But they're killing mothers, left and right. And they all think themselves moralist. They say कि जब उनका कौन सा त्योहार आता है, बकरा ईद ना, नहीं ऐसे कुछ ईद आती है, उसमें वो लोग एक गाय को मिलके खरीदते हैं और मिलके काटते हैं, मिलके खाते हैं. तो बोलते हैं कितना भाईचारा हमारे में, देखो हम ये काम मिलके करते हैं. So does that make it moral because they are doing it together? No. It is immoral, but they think they are the biggest moralists. कितना प्रेम है हमारी कम्युनिटी में. We kill cow together, we eat together. We share with each other. Okay. So masses does not mean right. फिश मार्केट में आपको बहुत सारे लोग मिल जाएंगे, बट नॉट इन ज्वेलरी शॉप. Yes. Does that sound okay, Prabhu?
So it will take time to digest such.
You take your own time. Don't worry. Don't sleep.
I why I am saying so, because I am now a little bit confused. It means that they do not live blissful life, or they are not within their heart they are not. That means that they are not.
See, I was in Sri Lanka. 70% population is, Anita Mata is here, is Buddhist. Are they not killing animals? You can ask Anita Mata. Anita Mata ji, how many of Buddhists in Sri Lanka will be vegetarian?
Hardly.
Hardly. अहिंसो परमो धर्मो, किसका ये है नारा है? And every one of them is eating non-vegetarian. Okay. And we remain confused because we do not take shelter of Shastras. अमेरिका बोलता है keep towards left. इंडिया बोलता है keep towards right. हमारे ट्रैफिक रूल अलग अलग है ना, वहां के अलग है, हमारे अलग है. Which is right, which is wrong? So everybody is making their own rules. They think they're right. No, we have to take shelter of scriptures to understand what is right, what is wrong. Shabd Praman, not our own Pratyaksh Praman or Anuman Praman. If you want to know the truth, read Bhagavad Gita and simply follow with full faith. Because that has not changed over a period of time. Everything else is changing. They are not perfect. Okay. So all confusions is still persisting because we do not have faith in scriptures. If we have faith in scriptures, all confusions will go. Right? If your authority is telling, Baba, chanting is good, then chanting is good. If authority is telling killing is bad, killing is bad. No confusion. Why confusion? Because we don't trust scriptures. Then only confusion. One who is following scriptures will never be confused. Do you all agree? Rest of the population? Our confusion comes because we doubt. No, जो लिखा है इसमें गड़बड़ है, कैसे हो सकता है ऐसे? To develop faith, then confusions will go. And chanting is a good process to develop faith. Please start doing. I'm sure, Krishna will inspire from within and clear all the doubts. यहाँ लिखा निहारम एव भास्करा. जिस तरह से सूर्य फोक को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, कोहरा, कोहरे को समाप्त कर देता है, वैसे chanting will, remove all the doubts from our heart, from our mind. Okay. Yes, Pranasaki Mataji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. So Prabhuji, I want to say that even Hindus, if we see today, how many Hindus are following the real Sanatan Dharma? They all eat meat when they go out, and we all go to temple just for asking something from the God, and we have different demigod for different wishes. So as a practical, and the whole world is marred by coronavirus. If corona is not there, something else is there. So there is no peace anywhere. I just want to add that point.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Okay. So the only solution is develop faith. There are no confusion. Okay. All right. I have to stop it here. Anyone has any question? Anyone else? Any doubt? Any question? Yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Prabhuji, I want to ask significance of blessing. Like हमें तो बोला जाता है कि हमें अपनी लाइफ या अगला जन्म अपने कर्मों के हिसाब से या अपने डिजायर के हिसाब से मिलता है. तो फिर किसी के लिए अच्छा सोचना, ब्लेसिंग देना किसी को, उसको उसका सिग्निफिकेंस कैसे मिलता है? मतलब उसका फायदा उसको कैसे हो सकता है? अनकंडीशनल ब्लेसिंग, लाइक इवन इफ सामने वाला आपके लिए अच्छा कर रहा हो या नहीं कर रहा हो, स्टिल इफ वी आर ब्लेसिंग दैट पर्सन, तो what is that? What is the significance? I just want to know.
Now, what is blessing? पहले कहते थे count your blessings. Now कहते हैं count your currency, count your dollars. This is now transformation change. Again, people used to pay obeisances. बच्चे सुबह सुबह उठते थे. I remember we had a joint family. Grandfather, grandmother, my bua, my chacha ji, all were at home. And early morning we used to get up. We used to touch their feet. Right? When you touch somebody's feet, his heart blossoms. Yes or no? His heart blossoms and good wishes manifest automatically. You think good about one who is paying obeisances. These are very powerful. These are very powerful. If you pray for someone else very intensely with a pure heart, Krishna reciprocates. Right? So blessing is powerful if we're done with the good intention, with a pure heart. So we should keep collecting blessings from devotees, even from elders, from parents. Today's children are very unfortunate. Why? They don't have enough stock of blessings. They have stock of toys. They have stock of mobile games, channels on the television, right? Maybe many friends, but they do not have enough blessings because they've forgotten to pay obeisances, to touch feet, to bend in front of elders, to bend in front of deities. They've forgotten. They do not have. That's why they're most unfortunate. We should teach our children, collect as much as possible blessings. It is like a protection. Blessing is like a protection for us. माँ बाप के मन से क्या blessing निकलती है बताइए आप, विनीता माता जी आप बताइए. If your child, if Arpit Prabhuji is touching your feet every day, what blessing comes out automatically?
खुश रहो, जीते रहो, स्वस्थ रहो, सुख दीर्घायु रहो.
कितना कुछ मिल जाता है. If she is chanting, will Krishna not listen to her? If she is chanting every day, taking the holy name every day, will Krishna not listen to her prayer? Listen. Definitely. So blessings are very, very important, very relevant, and we should collect as much as possible. Okay. बच्चों को सिखाइए पांव छूना, भगवान के आगे झुकना. प्रणामो दुख शमनस, भागवतम का आखिरी श्लोक बोलता है केवल प्रणाम करने से हमारे दुख दूर होते हैं. क्यों? प्रणाम करते हैं तो भगवान का हृदय प्रफुल्लित हो जाता है. And Krishna also blesses, and there are miseries start going away simply by paying obeisance. केवल भगवान के आगे झुकने से वो कार्य हो जाता है जो आपके 12 घंटे हर रोज रगड़ने से नहीं होता है. केवल भगवान के आगे झुकने से. Sincere surrender in front of Krishna will get you rid of all miseries of life gradually. Simply paying obeisances. कितना मुश्किल है बताइए, भगवान के आगे प्रणाम करना मुश्किल नहीं है ना, करना चाहिए. Collect blessings as much as possible. Okay, should we stop here? I have a session after some time. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please increase your rounds if you have not from yesterday. Okay, Ekadashi day. Hare Krishna.